Just before another front moved onshore in the Pacific Northwest, I set out from Boeing Field to Hoquiam on the Washington coast to fly an ILS approach in visual conditions. This video demonstrates how I set up for, brief, and fly instrument approaches in the A36 Bonanza, which is equipped with the latest Garmin avionics and a modern digital autopilot flight director, the Garmin GFC 600. Strong winds aloft required a large heading correction most of the way down the final approach course, as you'll see as I hand fly the procedure with the flight director providing helpful cues.
Gauges are good, climbing out. Port bash on.
So Tower Vista M132 is with you, 14 right.
Vista M132 Boeing Tower, runway 14 right, clear to land, wind 1204.
Good land, Vista M132, thanks.
Okay, we are up cruising along, heading toward Hoquiam to do an ILS, practice ILS approach. We're level 4,500, navigating just stay south of Shelton because of the skydive activity there. We'll shortly join a navigation leg to affix on the approach. But before we do any of that, we're just going to take care of the airplane. So I always start with a flow check to get us ready for the descent and approach. And I always start with the fuel selector.
Thank you, Romeo. You're going to go out towards Hoquiam and then turn southbound?
We're on the right tank.
I'm going to try to cut corners where I can, trying to
Fuel
make this quick. But yeah,
pressure is stable, and that makes sense. Then I go through my electrical switches, my lights, and other equipment. So I've got the landing light on, nav strobes and beacon are all on. I don't need pitot or prop heat today. Look at my engine and system gauges. So the engine gauges all look good, and the system gauges as well. So the airplane is essentially in good shape for the descent and approach and landing. With that taken care of, we know sort of what we want to do, but I've already checked the weather at Hoquiam via ADS-B just to get a preview. It's clear skies, light winds, 7 knots out of the east, but we're going to land on runway, I'm going to apply the ILS to runway 24. Altimeter is 3021. Go ahead and adjust that now. Well clear of Seattle's airspace.
Airspace 839, Apollo Squadron maintain flight level 200.
And we can listen to that in a moment as we get a little closer in.
flight level 200, airsprint 839.
Wingspan 95, Seattle Center 132.07, what's it?
3207, CO wingspan 95.
And for this approach, we're just going to monitor Seattle Center instead of talking to them. There's not a lot of traffic out there, but we'll keep an ear open to see if anybody is doing anything out there. Okay, we're just approaching Shelton south of it. That's going to work out nicely. We'll be able to turn direct to Euless here in a moment. Now let's talk about doing an avionics flow. So I'm listening to Seattle Center, oops, and I'm going to go ahead and put 22.7, which is the CTAF at Hoquiam, in standby. I've been monitoring the Olympia VOR on my bearing 1 pointer. I'll leave it there, but I've got the Hoquiam ILS is in standby because I loaded the approach. On the nav side down here, I've got the Hoquiam VOR on my bearing 2 pointer, and the Olympia VOR is in standby.
Zero Charlie Quebec,
On the
contact
comp
Seattle
side down here, I have the
125.6.
AWAS and the CTAF at Hoquiam.
125.6, 300 Charlie.
We're squawking 1200. Go ahead and see if we can pick up the Hoquiam weather.
23. Remarks. Density altitude minus 1,100. Hoquiam, Bowerman Airport. Automated weather observation. 1929er Zulu. Wind 100 at 05.
Down horizon, 2108 level 280, we got positive.
Sky condition clear.
Right, 2108 Seattle Center, 20 Quebec, contact descend to the Hawk 7, lining south.
0.05
Seattle Center,
Celsius.
3024.
Altimeter
Alright, clear direct Hawk,
3023.
should be the Hawk South,
Remarks.
2108.
Density altitude
Airplane 39, contact Seattle Center, 125.1 with you.
All right, so we have the 1 minute weather at Hoquiam. The only thing we had to change was the altimeter setting.
25
The winds are now showing only 5 knots.
125.1.
25.1, thanks, airsprint 839.
So now we can plan
1714, set approach 125.6. Yep.
our approach. I've
125.6,
loaded the
up to
ILS
640.
runway 24, looking at the chart, and we're going direct to ULIS here in a moment. And then it makes sense, we'll be straight in from there. We go to LAM, NETI, which is the final approach fix. 2,100 is set as the altitude there for using VNAV. And then we'll pick up the localizer 108.7, which I'll go ahead and tune and start to see if we can pick up the identifier on that as we get a little closer in. We'll be going down to minimums of 216, which I didn't set already, but I'll set them now. If we could only get the localizer, it's on 580, and if we circle, it's 580 as well. And we only need standard minimums of 1/2 a mile. The approach lights are not in service today, but it's daytime, so we don't need them. But that would increase our visibility requirement to 3/4 if it were IFR, if it were IMC down there. We're not going to use the visual descent point. We have the phone number on the chart in case we needed to call and cancel an IFR clearance on the ground. And the miss on this is a climb straight ahead to go to the VOR and then hold as published at 2,500. We'll do a full stop landing, taxi back, and then depart the area. I'll plan to hand fly this approach with the flight director once we get established going toward ULIS. We'll go ahead and put that in now. Reinitiate that. We're now clear of the Shelton traffic. Now this approach has a couple of interesting features that when you're at ULIS, we actually fly a heading leg of 183 to intercept essentially the final approach course. I'm going to go ahead and activate VNAV now, and VPath is showing. So once we get to ULIS, we can go down to 2,300, and it's on a heading leg, and we'll watch as that happens on the HSI. And I'll plan to do this one, as we always do on any approach, with approved vertical guidance, or even advisory vertical guidance for that matter, our standard configuration. So about 17 to 18 inches of manifold pressure, 2,500 RPM. We'll go approach flaps as we get close to the final approach fix, and then gear down as we intercept. 110 knots down final.
Molly 24, Seattle Center, good morning.
So we're about 11 miles, just over 5 minutes to ULIS. We'll be making a turn to 183. So as we get within a couple of minutes of ULIS, we've got about a 7-mile leg to join, but I will configure the airplane, set up the power and so forth, and we'll go to hand flying with the flight director once we get a little closer in. So final review of our checklist. We've done all the top-up descent items. We've briefed the approach. Our avionics, bearing pointers, CDIs are set up. We'll be looking for automatic CDI switching from magenta to the green needles once the final approach fix becomes active. So all we really have left is mixture, flaps, and landing gear. We have the Hoquiam area in sight. I don't quite have the runway because of the angle we're approaching. We have the bay. And we're going to pretend as though we were going all the way to minimum, so we're not going to reconfigure. That is, we're not going to extend full flaps. The runway's plenty long down there. So we'll just land with approach flaps, smoothly reduce power, and slow down to our normal landing speed. We're getting a preview now of the localizer on the HSI, and it is in fact ID'd upstairs there in the nav box. I still have the bearing 2 pointer showing Hoquiam just for reference. Not a lot of chatter on the radio today. You can see sort of on the map view there that it's a dash line after ULIS instead of a solid line indicating it's a heading leg, and we'll see that indication on there. So Hoquiam's now identified. The course should be 241. Looks like it's properly set. Coming up on a minute and 45 seconds to ULIS. I'm going to reduce the power about a minute and 30. Get us back toward our happy place so that we're not accelerating as we start the descent. So here comes power back to about 18 inches. Engine temps and pressures are all good. Slowing down, get to around 125 knots or so by the time we make this turn. V-path is active. Autopilot coming off. Flight director, yaw damper will stay on.
Hoquiam traffic, sky 278 Charlie Alpha, turn on the right crosswind, 06, Hoquiam.
Left 20.
Okay, more traffic, Beaver 55 Tango's coming up on Lake City, 500 climbing southbound.
Here's our turn. The heading leg, as you can see on the HSI. We'll match up the standard rate turn indicator at this speed, which is about 20 degrees of bank.
Hoquiam traffic, sky 278 Charlie Alpha, right downwind, 06, Hoquiam.
Come on, traffic, Beaver 900 Kilo Alpha, Champagne Point 1200.
Hoquiam traffic, sky 278 Charlie Alpha, right downwind, runway 06, Hoquiam. Hoquiam traffic, sky 278 Charlie Alpha, turning right base 06, Hoquiam.
Push the mixture in.
Hoquiam traffic, sky 278 Charlie Alpha, base final 06, Hoquiam.
About 1 minute now to the intercept.
Come on, traffic, Beaver 900 Kilo Alpha, Arrowhead 1200, setting up for a left pattern for a south landing, Kenmore.
Turn in about 40 seconds. A little high on the VNAV profile.
RV 4900 Delta Bravo, left base 1730.
We have lots of time. It's the right turn. We're starting the turn now. on profile.
And Hoquiam traffic stock 278 Charlie Alpha, turn in right crosswind 06 Hoquiam.
Cruise traffic, Skyhawk deliver 5086 Romeo, coming in from the northwest, 5 miles, sending down the traffic pattern at altitude, entering the 45 to left downwind for runway 35, Pierce.
Hoquiam traffic, Bonanza 46 Foxtrot's about 14 miles east. We're doing a practice ILS runway 24. Hoquiam, we're watching for the Cessna.
We'll stay out of your way. Hoquiam traffic stock 278 Charlie Alpha, turn in right downwind, runway 06 will be a full stop, and then we'll be waiting for the Bonanza.
You can, if you want to do a touch go, that's fine. I can avoid you. Just wanted to let you know I'm not here.
No worries.
Okay, 2300 to Lamb, and then 2100 at Nettie. All working out nicely. A little bit fast.
Hoquiam traffic stock 278 Charlie Alpha is downwind to base, runway 06 will be a touch and go, and then departing to the southeast. We'll stay out of the way.
Hoquiam traffic, Bonanza 46 Foxtrot's 11 miles east, joining a final runway 24. Hoquiam, thanks.
Cruise traffic, November 5086 Romeo, entering the left downwind for runway 35, touch and go. Stairs.
Okay, the vertical glide has gone away. The glide path is previewed. 4 miles from Nettie. We've got the airplane under control. Stable. Quite a bit of crosswind up here, 25 knots. Ground speed's only 110. Big wind correction angle. Hoquiam traffic, Bonanza 46 Foxtrot's now 8 mile final, runway 24. Hoquiam.
Hoquiam traffic stock 278 Charlie Alpha is on the upwind from 06 will be departure to the southeast. Hoquiam.
Now we're getting the vertical nav back because we were just within 100 feet. It's going to be captured to get us right down to 2100 at Nettie. Big wind correction angle. Almost 30 knots of a crosswind off of from about 10 o'clock. Big crosswind correction. Runway's in sight. Okay, we'll go speed checks, approach flaps. Glide path coming in. Speed checks, landing gear down, taxi light on. 3 green, glide path captured. Hoquiam traffic, Bonanza 46 Foxtrot, 5 mile final, runway 24, Hoquiam. Okay, approach flaps, mixtures rich, props at 25, 3 green. We're on the profile, just holding a big correction because of that crosswind. Just approach altitude 2500.
And Hoquiam traffic stock 278 Charlie Alpha is about 2 miles to the southeast, 1,500 climb at 2,000. We got the Bonanza in sight. Have a good day.
Thank you, 46 Foxtrot. Still about more than 20 knots of crosswind from the left. Need to get back over to center line, otherwise we're on profile. Traffic's in sight, no factor. Hoquiam traffic, Bonanza 46 Foxtrot, 3 mile final, runway 24, Hoquiam. Ground speed's only 98 knots. Wind is starting to die off as we descend slightly above glide path, on speed, a little bit of power reduction. On center line, we are configured approach flaps, mixtures rich, props at 25.3 green. About 700 to go. Hoquiam traffic, Bonanza 46 Foxtrot, short final, runway 24, full stop, Hoquiam. Approaching minimums. And all the wind is almost died off. The director yaw damper coming off. Here's minimums. Green. Traffic, Bonanza 46 Foxtrot, clearing runway 24 at the end. Alright, turn around at department.